Hello and welcome. My name is Christer, Chris for short, and in this third episode I'm going to continue editing my video. If you followed the the other parts, you know that have had some troubles with the streaming setup. So I tried to use two computers instead. One, the main editing computing, just running Resolve, and the other, and then via something called NDI, wirely transfer it to the other computer that's going to connect the capture cards and cameras and everything. And I got that to work. But also, if I only use two of those, and maybe it has something to do with the installation of NDI, I don't know, but now it seems to be working with the two capture cards, or it has something to do with the placement of the USB capture card, because now I'm only using the front I/O of the computer, and before I used both the front I/O and the back I/O. I don't know. I'm happy that it's working. So let's get into it. Well, you might also see that my background has changed because I like this live streaming thingy so much, so that I went to the local sheep shop and bought some curtains and a curtain holder. Actually, I can show you. I can switch to the right camera here. I can show you my setup here. There's the lights and the second angle, and here's the curtains with the curtain holders, and up there I've got a rail for mounting lights, and here on my other side I've got a light with a diffuser, and I've also got these rails all over the ceiling so that I could potentially mount more lights if I wanted to. I've got a second room and I got more fixtures there, but I haven't found that I need to. So let's skip that. So the last time something crashed, I think. Yeah, no, this is the first time. And I've redone some of the stuff so that we are sort of in the same position or place that we were lately, or when we stopped. Now I have actually one extra video track here. I want to show you something that's fairly nice. You can right click and delete empty tracks, and then it removes all video and audio tracks that you don't need, like so. Now we just see the blank screen. I haven't done very much. I've sort of basically done the same edit that I did previously. I mixed it around a bit, but I've also added here. Added sound effects. I'm sort of a sponge, so whenever someone offers free sound effects or free music or something, I sort of collect it and put them all in a bucket so I can use them for later. And I'm going to turn off the Spotify music so you can hear me. Now there's no background music, so you can hear the audio. So there you can hear the sort of swoosh and startup. It's called Dark Swish. I think it's from Basic University. I think I got it from there. Or maybe it's Free Jingle Friday, whatever. So I've got the text box here, nothing major, normal text, just drag it in, change the font up here, and I've changed the font family to Bebas New. That's one of my favorite fonts, Bebas New. And you can do a lot of stuff, but this is just simple. Maybe I'll do it more fancy. And here I have done something that's quite interesting. Let's go to, I have the same, well, actually we can disable this one. So if you mark any clip and push the D key, it sort of grays out and disables that, so you won't see it. Now, this is actually an image. So let's go to the image. It's this one here. No, it's not that one, sorry. It's a bit slow today. Let's see where it is. It's probably somewhere down. Yeah. Oh, it's probably this one. So I can scroll this one. Let's see. If I can press Control F, I can get the full screen out of this. So you can see it's the information stand, or where this table picture is taken from, and it's a bit underexposed, I would say, and it's a bit grainy, and there's some reflections and stuff, so it's not very nice. But we are going trying to fix that. So we see here on the what I actually done. I've put in different effects, and I also put in some movement to make it more dynamic. I'm not really happy with this. I'm probably going to change that to the same as I've done with this one. So let's see if we can find the, well, we can see it's called 56 in the end. Let's see, 56. We have the image 56. It's here. So this is the original image. It's shot 4:3 because that's the way the Panasonic GH5 shoots. So I've got more real estate top and bottom. And what I've done is I've sort of changed the exposure and also took out the colors so that all of these imperfections, you see there's smudges and stuff here, doesn't affect this as much. So let's mark this one and go into the color tab down here. There's a quick command for that, but I don't use that very often. I don't know if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. No, there's probably some. I don't remember. Oh well. So what have I done? Well, here I've just changed some of the. What have I done? Situation. I've done some changes. Oh yeah, it's probably some. But, lens blur. No. Yeah. I'll just undo most of these. So now we're back. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. It was a couple of days since I did this, so I must check again. Yeah, in this one I've sort of taken out the saturation, so there's no color left in this image. It's just black and white. And then I've added this Chinese brush style, and it's an open effect. So if we add a new node, add node, add node, serial. There's nothing white or anything going on here, which means that this is an empty node. And then in this OpenFX library, I can either search or just scroll down to different sorts of styles. And this one is stylize. It's called stylize, so I can try to find it. I can search for it. Stylize. And just simply drag it to this. And then there's lots of different styles. There's candy, for instance, and you can change the scale of it. It's a bit slow because I think the GPU is doing quite a lot of stuff when you do this. So, well, that's just the nature of the beast. Scream, I think that has something to do with the famous painting Scream. It's sort of, oh well. So there's lots of stuff you can change, and the one I got was the Chinese brush. I can't speak today. And then I changed the amount here, but I've already done that, so it's a bit too much now. Just delete this node. So that's the Chinese brush, and I'll sort of blended it back. And then I added the tilt shift blur, and that's making things sort of look like you're far away or miniature. So that's a cool effect. So what I've done is I've gone from, let's go back, from this pretty boring image with smudges and stuff, and I sort of zoomed in and added these rather simple effects. And if we play this back, and now you should probably, yeah, now you hear the music I've chosen as well. I put in some keyframes, and that's pretty simple. In order to be able to shift the image, I needed to zoom in, so I've zoomed in 1.59 times. But since I can right click here, this is a fairly, I didn't see that there. Okay, let's go there. Where do we see the resolution? Yeah, there we see it's a fairly high resolution. It's 5,184 times 3,888. So there's lots of pixels in this. Lots of pixels in this picture in order to be able to move it anyway. So when I'm at the first frame in this picture, I can set the position, and I push this red diamond to get a key point or a keyframe, and then I put the last one, and then I done that a little bit too much, but oh well. I can change. Easier to do it like this, and I can change how much I want the picture to move. And since I really like this effect, I want to do that with many of these pictures because I've taken lots of them. And one thing you can do, you can just go to the color tab and redo all of these each and every time. But that's quite time consuming, and you might not get it right. You might have some differences. So if you wanted them to be exactly the same, you use the Control-C on your computer keyboard to copy this, but instead of Control-V for pasting, you mark the recipient of this and press Alt-V instead. Then you get this paste attribute, similar to Excel, if you want to paste with figures or without and so forth. And here you can push in, now you can select which attributes you want. So I've chosen previous position to get the keyframe. I've got color correction, then I get all the effects and stuff that I've done in the color tab. What did I do more? Yeah, I needed a zoom because I've zoomed it right. Is there anything else? More pitch or composition? Yeah, crop. No, I didn't use crop. So I think that's, yeah. And I'm going to redo that because this one has another framing, but that's what I did to all of them first. In the first pass, and then when I started looking at them, this is really good. So then I changed it. And here, this one, I should probably say that. Let's go back to this one. There is something called, no, I haven't used it, I think so. I thought I did. Oh well. So that's basically those. And I must say I'm pretty happy with that because these pictures, photographs, are not, they're not really that impressive. But since they are drawings rather than actual pictures, you can get away with sort of changing them and turning into sort of black and white. So that's why this one, it is too, I think it's called glass pane or something, but I don't want to decompose it because when I decomposed it last time and I had the stream and everything running, it crashed. So I'm not going to do that. So I sort of used, that one is actually wrong. What I did now is, if you have a clip chosen, you can push in Alt and use the arrow keys to move it from the different video tracks. And that's something that's very, very handy because then you don't have to use your mouse and sort of move them sideways as well. It's just up and down. It's a good way to change them. So what I've done is these here are the pictures. So I know how to differentiate them. And here you can also do something that's quite nice. You can click colors, which I haven't done. So I can say all my pictures are going to be violet. And then I very quickly see that they are in a different, I mean, for this small video on timeline, it's perhaps not that important, but that's how you do it anyway. And I can do also this and say, I want to have clip color yellow for these, for instance. It makes it more visually easy to see what the different clips are. And if you're changing scenes, for instance, now we are on the same scene. It just works in circles anyway, so that's not that important. But okay, let's see. Is anyone watching? Let's see. I thought that this OBS thingy would give me a counter. Well, it seems like no one's watching, but that's just fine because I'm just practicing and getting this YouTube video done anyway. So that's just fine. I'm learning. And now I'm going to go back because what I've said in the description, and I want to keep as well, is now I've added music. And this music here, you see, is a bit dim, and that is because I have used this padlock in order to not manipulate that when I manipulate the video time up above. And well, I'll unlock it now. Let's see. So I'm going to play a bit and show you here because now I've tried to edit to the music a little bit. This music is, well, music is a chapter on its own because music can really break or make a video. And there are lots of subscription services out there. I personally do not like subscription services. Well, in a way, I like them in a way, but as of right now, since this isn't just a hobby of mine, I think it's too expensive for me to pay any of the big ones, Artlist or MusicBed or whatever, a subscription fee, even though they've got great music. But I still want to have music, and there's lots of music you can use that are CC music. But then you have to reference them, and you don't ever know if they change something, because I've used CC music before, and I've got copyright claims, and I'm not getting any monetizing anyway, but I don't want to put myself at risk. And if this goes fine, I might be having commercials before and in my videos sometimes in the future, and then I don't want to be hindered by having music that prohibits that. So this music is actually bought from a Humble Bundle. But yeah, both of them are bought from a Humble Bundle, and I think I bought them, and they costed about 30-40 euros or something like that. And then they're completely free. I can use them how much I want in any project. Let's show. I've got them. This is, I'm getting sidetracked, but you'll just have to. I put them in video ads. It's music, and well, this is Swedish, of course, but there's all of these I bought for, well, a couple of dollars or euros, and there's some for each. It's actually mostly made for making games, I think, because there's space games, adventure, scary music, medieval. Well, there's a bunch at least, and they're decent. They're just sort of background music, but they're fine. And another place that I've also bought is this called Pro Music Pack, and it's even a little bit better, I would say. And there's, I don't know, let's see, you like properties. There's 237 different songs with 1.4 gigabytes. Well, they are MP3s, and actually I've already heard quite a lot of them because these chill out music is the one that's going in the background in the pre-stream and also in the normal stream. Not now because I've turned them off, because otherwise you can't hear the music here. So that's rambling. Let's go to the editing with the music. So this is the zooming into the big rock. And right there you heard the, I don't know, and then I made a transition back to the main rock because that's what we zoomed into. And I'm slowly zooming back. This is actually just a picture because I haven't got. And there you can actually see it pretty well in the audio waveform, the audio waveform. English is not my native language. Like there, and then I can put the cut right there, and it gets sort of more flowing, and it's the cut is more what's the word? Well, it accentuates the cut. And there's a new one back there, and I changed to the actually probably should have done like that instead, because I should probably have cut that, but well, I don't know. This would probably work as well. And here's the, it was very windy that day, so that's the grass waving about very much, and I think I've slowed this down as well. Let's see, change clip speed. Yeah, I've slowed it down, so it's half speed of the actual, so it was waving very much. And also I think I've done some stabilization. No, I haven't done stabilization. I don't remember. Maybe I'll try to stabilize it. Maybe it was because it was warping. Let's see. Actually, we can try to use this camera lock. It means that the Resolve tries to mimic a tripod, and also it crops down a bit more than usual. Now that looks horrible, so we can't use that. Let's right onto that. Yeah, it was actually already stabilized, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I mean, this is not a, a super high video anyway. And I'm sort of intercutting. I'm trying to having two of these sort of normal video clips, and then I should probably that cut wasn't really good. So I should probably move that one. Yeah. That one, like so. Because I don't know. I need to drag this one over here. That's something that's a bit annoying, because when you drag, then the stabilization, you see it jumps. It means that the stabilization has been done for those, but not the part that you dragged. So you need to reset it and then stabilize it again. Then you won't have that sort of jerky thing. Because when you stabilize, it always crops in a little bit. Also, how much it depends on how much movement there is in the footage. Yeah, sort of fine. There was not. Just a trumpet or something. Yeah, so I should probably drag that over there instead. Yeah, it's fine. You don't need to cut every single one on a beat, because then it's predictive as well. So not every cut needs to be that type of cut, but and I can tell you, when I start playing, I'm not using these play buttons with the mouse. I'm using the spacebar, but there's also the L, and the J backwards, and K for stopping. But the good thing with those is if you push 2 times, I've pushed J 2 times, it goes backwards 2 times faster, and the more times you push, the faster it will get. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and so forth. So if you want to move quickly, you can do that, and you can either stop with the spacebar or the K key. So that's good to know. Okay, nothing super fancy. I'll actually voice over this, but not live, because I'm using the mic already. Maybe I'll show you how I do that in another video, because there's a fairly good ADR or voiceover tool within Resolve. I'm not 100%. I don't 100% like it, but there's, well, it's all right. I think that was fine. Was it a bit too late? I think it was a bit. You see, this is the frame, and the audio is just in between, so that's just fine. Yeah, that's fine. And as you've seen, I've almost only used normal cuts. No, very few transitions. Down here, there's video effects, generators. No, yeah, that's good. Open effects filter generators. No, not audio. Video transition. I'm blind. There's a whole lot of video transitions there, and also some from Alex, Mr. Alex, and some other free Fusion transitions that I've acquired. That are very nice. So you could just sort of, okay, let's use Alex tech glitch here and try to. Yeah, so it does something, but for this type of video, I don't think that's a very good. I mean, this is sort of medieval kind of vibe. Yeah, so I don't think these glitch effects are any good. Slice. Let's just see what they do. So there's a lot. Well, yeah, but I mean, for me, it reminds me of the 80s, when you first had the Amiga, and you sort of had the possibility to do any of these kinds of wipes, and for like Barndor, for instance. And you can change the duration. Usually you're supposed to. Let's see if I can. Oh, maybe that's a max amount. I don't know. Usually you could. Oh. Apparently not for that one. Clock wipe. Let's see if I can. Oh. Is there transition? Okay, angle, border. Yeah, a duration I can probably. 2 seconds? No, I can't change that. Sorry. I thought you could. Because if you just right click, and if you haven't changed it from the default, you always get to cross dissolve. You can change the default. I haven't changed it, so it cross dissolve, and I can say 25 frames, and then they say the clip is not long enough, and then they're going to trim it. So just cancel that. But let's see if there's, yeah, six frames. There's 6 frames enabled to, but then you can usually drag, or maybe these 2 clips are not long enough, so that's why. Oh well. So maybe I should have. There's a good snare there, but like that. And then I sort of. I should probably fade to black instead. Make it longer. Fade to black. I like fade to black. That was not very nice. You see what happened? It stopped and then. So that's not way. So now we want to find the keyframe, and instead of sort of moving the timeline and trying to find it, you can use this arrow key. So that's the first keyframe, and I can find the second one. But now it should be over here. So either I can just sort of Control C this number, undo it, and then move to the end. There's probably a better way to do it, but sorry, I don't know. And paste that in. And now, it's going to cache a bit. Now it will. So since I've added some frames or lengthened the clip, the movement for this particular clip is going to be somewhat slower than the other ones, but that's fine. No one's going to notice. I don't think so. And what's happened here? Let's see. I think we have. Should probably move this up here in order to. Yeah. So I've captured the bumblebee here. I'll fill it, and then I've intercut that with the. Let's see. I should probably make this a bit longer. So move that one there. Yep. So I've changed the music. It's more not as scary. It's actually not called scary. This is called Medieval Theme 1. And the evil is near looped there. Oh well. And I'm scrolling to find. It's the same as doing this, but I try to use the keyboard and mouse without using the controls because that's much faster. Like so. Yeah. There's no cut point there. So it's just fine. And there's a fairly close up of the bumblebee. Fairly close up at least. Just sort of panning from the. There's just sort of extreme close up of the bumblebee. I've changed lens there. It's the 42.5 lens, I think. And some sort of macro shots of the rock with nice blurry background. Let's see, was that a nice transition? Yeah, which works. And here we got the dog. And of course, if we got the dog, we need the dog again. And then we change to. And here I've done some glitch effects, sort of, even though it's just retime curve and retime control. So let's try to show you. I've put 2 speed points and added them. And here is 50% because it's shot in 550p. So it's now 25p, so it's normal speed. And then here, it's 800%. So I don't know how many frames per second that is, but that's a lot. And that gives this sort of effect. And then sort of stays. And that's nice. Is that stabilized? Yes, it is stabilized. Let's see if that's good. Oh, actually, that passage Reminds me of Game of Thrones, but anyway. I've been maybe I should have panned this on a different angle, so not everything is going from left to right, but from right to left as well. And here I've done the same thing, but several times. Several key points, and then quick moving, and then stopping. That's sort of about it. This is didn't really like that clip because it's a bit too warpy, and also there's a bit of a, well, you can see it fairly good there. When the sensor shifts, you can see the vignette here. So I should probably then, oh, it's already zoomed in, but I should probably zoom in even more. Well, it's sort of fine, but no, I'm not really that. Let's see the beginning. Turn it on again. Oh yeah, something I haven't talked about. There's these blue lines, and that's the caching. So if we go to playback, there's render cache, and I put it on smart, which means that the system itself decides whether it should pre-cache something or not. It's a very good feature, even though it's a bit stupid because let's see, this clip here has some effects on it, tilt shift and shiny sketches, I think it was, or brushes. But it's already pre-rendered. So, but if I take this and just move it, it needs to recache itself. It's actually become somewhat smarter because previously it needed to recache the whole thing. So somewhere in the revisions of Resolve, that might have fixed that. So okay, as you've seen, or maybe you haven't, I have actually renamed these two audio tracks down here, so I know what they are: music and sound effects. And here in the music, I have used the clip equalizer, actually only for that one, but you could use the go to the Fairlight tab and use it for the whole track. I usually do that. And what I've done is I've used this number 3 band around 800 and sort of dropped it down a lot. And that's because I know I want to put voice over this, and my voice resides in this place. So I sort of scooped out the the place so that my voice can reside there without competing with the music. I'm going to do the same here. Just turn on clip equalizer, drag down the third like so, and you're finished. So if I add a track here, mono, I call it VO for voiceover. My track will sort of fill this void. So yeah, and then I will come through more cleanly and clearer, because, well, that's about it. So now I am sort of done. Well, I'm not really happy with this. I'll probably change that to the same type of this. Yeah. And something that you can do, and I don't really know if I'm going to do with this particular video, but if you right click here, you can add different types of tracks, and you can add a subtitle track. And that's very good because then you can, well, there's different ways to do it. Either you just sort of voice over the thing and let the YouTube do the subtitling automatically, or you can subtitle it first, and then you have sort of a script to voice over. Well, either way works fine. now, as you said, delete empty tracks, and then my voiceover track went away as well because, well, it simply is. And something, I've changed the colors of the individual clips, but you can also change the track color to, let's see, I want all my music to be chocolate. So that's also a very good way of distinguishing, oh, this is sound effects and this is music. Maybe there are, if anyone knows if there's any sort of standard industry standard colors for different things. Please tell me so, because I don't know. Let's see. I want to. These are small as they can be. Yeah, okay. This is a bit annoying because when you turn on read time control, you get this whole window, and then you can't collapse it. So that's, and there's no quick menu for it either. There's probably a way to do that. I think I've seen that someone mapped the key to it or something. So this video is sort of getting there. I mean, it's not super exciting or interesting. However, it's much more interesting and exciting than just sort of putting the different clips on end to end without sort of choosing the music. I didn't pick or put a lot of effort into choosing the music, but I put at least some into cutting with the music. I've done these sort of movement pictured, sort of to make it somewhat more interesting. So there's just not the pictures of the rocks. And if I had the drone, it would be nice to have the third layer of sort of drone footage to intercut with. But oh well, I didn't. And a fourth layer would, of course, be if you had the possibility to interview someone about that knows something actually about this, more than me just sort of speaking or reading things that's said here in the different text fields. So I'm sort of getting there. I'll probably change the start, but because the start will probably be more like here, just starting with that swoosh. But something that I usually do is I go to generators and I take a solid color and I put it back here. I think actually I will not use that one. And the good thing with this is because when you're making YouTube videos, you want to have the possibility to put end screens on, and you don't want to put end screen on the last clip because then you sort of ruin that clip. So you need to make sure that there are enough video. Either you make a template with boxes and stuff so that the different end screens fit within those. I haven't done that yet. I usually just put in a black screen, or I put in bloopers. But let's see, where do we have? Sometimes I'm just blind. Change clip duration. Yeah, so 5 seconds is a bit too short. I think the length for YouTube is 20 seconds as a maximum, but I think that's a bit too much. So I usually go about around 12-15 seconds, like so. And there's different ways of changing ending this. Either you just cut and fade, or something that I try to do sometimes is sort of cut the music, align the music with, so I'm gonna mute that. Yeah, so I could probably go back like that. Since I've got, well, never mind. And then try to, it's all certain that this works, but no, it didn't. So sometimes you need to. And is that all? Oh, sorry. it can be a bit tricky to find where I should cut, but sometimes you can try, and then it's very good to not have them super connected. This is actually the one I need, the magnet, because then they stick to each other. But now I can drag. So where is so maybe there? Yeah, let's try that. And I'll alt up. Let's see how that sounds. I think there's a good cutting point. Let's just try to find something similar down here. You can watch the. I think if I push, maybe that works. I don't know. This is not my expertise. Let's see. Yeah, it works. Not very good, but I don't think that very many people would sort of. It stands out a bit, but not that much. Yeah, that'll work. Sometimes you can try to add a crossfade as well. Yeah, that's nice. So I'll leave that, and that means that the song ends probably like the musician intended. Yeah, it's good. So that's a little bit of a trick. So, but let's see. This is not a very long video. It's for just being rocks, showing rocks for 3 minutes. Well, there's a bumblebee and a dog as well, but this is also something that I think is really interesting because 3 minutes of video and trying to make it somewhat interesting needs a whole lot of clips. Let's count them, just for fun. So I should probably go to here. I can see there's absolutely ways of doing this. I've seen it done in other videos that you can sort of count how many clips you've been using. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 clips, sort of roundish. And we go down to photos. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see if you've used them. But what did I say? 18, 15, 16, 17. And well, so probably over 20 different clips. We have the music, we have cut to the music, we have sort of spline the music in order to match the ending, put in the solid in order to make an end screen. And here we should probably bring, we can use this one, just copy and paste it. I should probably have that one so that ends. And watch. I can't spell. Watch. And since I can't spell, I'll show you another tip that I use all the time. That's the EOSR that I made a stream about for a while ago. Let's see. Translate. So I go to Google, I just type in the phrase that I was using, and if it's wrong, usually it says here down in blue. I mean, there's lots of ways of spelling correction, but that's the one that I like a lot. So what I did there, I turned on, there's different ways of using it. I turned on the transform, and then I can change the position of the text. You can do lots of stuff with the text. What I usually just do is I put a couple of frames, because when you use these handles, they represent frames. So since this is 25p timeline, it goes to 24 frames, and then it says 1 second, and 1 second and 1 frame, and so forth. That's not super important. And you can do lots of fancy stuff here, but as soon as it's black and there's some music, and then just fill out I usually have 2 end-screen cards and 1 subscribe. I don't think anyone has pushed the subscribe one, but whatever. This is a learning experience for us all. So we're starting to get there. How long have I been streaming? I wonder if I can find that. Yeah, let's see if I can see how many. Oh, almost streamed for an hour. Dang. Oh well. Let's see if there's someone is watching. Hello there. That's nice if you want to watch stream. Let's see. No one has said anything in the chat anyway. So I'm about to wrap this up because it's been a long stream. But this is the way I've been done. I mean, this is not a super interesting video, but it's sort of a glimpse into how I make my videos. I've done several sort of the same style. This actually reminds me of, I haven't shown you what I've done with the color correction within the normal clip. So let's do that before I go. Which clip should I? I like the bumblebee super close up. So what I've done, I've just created there are 3 different nodes. In the first one, I think I just pushed the auto balance thingy. Let's see if that's correct. Yeah, I think I did that anyway. It's a very good feature. It sort of gets you in the ballpark, because I didn't bring me my color checker. Well, it's a piece of paper with the colors on to get extremely accurate colors, but I didn't bother doing it. I mean, when just out and about and with my family, I'm not bothering with that. So what did I do in this one? Yeah, I made some minus for color boost. Probably more or less the only thing that I did. The last one, what did I do? I added some contrast, added some saturation, changed the hue a little bit. There's some things. I've taken some courses online on color grading, and these 2 here and all these are the first parameters that you should be mindful of. All of these fancy things here, the different, well, just leave them be for the most part, because, well, you get far with these anyway. And there's lots of other stuff here. I know how to use many of them, but in this project I haven't had any real reason to. But I'll just let this play, and you see there's nice colors, and I can turn off. So this is the way it's actually shot. It's a lot of, I don't have log installed on my GH5, but it's a fairly flat profile to get a slight more dynamic range out of the camera. But then you turn on the grade, and it pops a bit more. I did do something that's a bit fun. Let's watch here. It's a dog. You can see the leash here. If we turn this on, you can see it's actually blue, but I thought that was a bit distracting. So I created a node that isolated the blue color and just turned down the saturation to 0, so it sort of graded out. And that's things you can actually see down here, or you can turn this on to show this is the only pieces of or only pixels this node is actually changing. So oh well, I think that's about it. Thanks very much for watching and sticking around. The one that did. Consider subscribing if you like this type of content. Push the thumbs up icon if you like this content, or push thumbs down if you didn't like it. But if you do, please tell me why you didn't like it so I can improve. Until next time, bye now.